mammal with white stripes across his hindquarters and front legs. This is called the okapi, and when it was initially discovered, those white stripes led some to believe that he would be related to the zebra. However, he's not. The okapi is the closest and only living relative to the giraffe. One of the similarities the okapi has with the giraffe is what's called a prehensile tongue. Prehensile is a word that means grasping, so the okapi has a grasping tongue that can be up to 14 inches long, which is actually long enough to clean inside and around the ears and nostrils. Just imagine all the money you could save on Q-tips and Kleenex with a tongue like that. I'm actually kind of jealous. The okapi communicate with each other via something called infrasound, which is ultra-low frequency sound, actually, that they are inaudible to human ears. So, our okapi could be talking to each other right now, and we wouldn't even know it. Would anybody like to hear my impression of an okapi? I'm really good. Yes, that's the sound of an okapi, folks, and that's what you call a punchline-less joke. I'm really good at them. The Dallas Zoo has both the most successful okapi breeding program in the entire world, and also the oldest living okapi in the entire world. He's approximately 30 years old, and was born right here at the Dallas Zoo. Everybody say, ooh. Oh. Next up is the mountains of Africa, where we're looking for a type of mountain goat called the Nubian ibex. Nubian ibex have very specially adapted hooves that resemble suction cups. They can use these suction cup shaped hooves to get good traction on loose or slippery rock, which enables them to leap great distances from one rock to another, oftentimes landing on an area even skinnier than 2 inches wide. Very nimble animals. Oh, it looks like we have some action all the way up there on the top of the tallest rock in the habitat. That's one of our young Nubian ibex, which we call kids, just like we call our own young kids. The female Nubians are called nanny goats, and that's a nanny goat all the way up, kind of a little bit down from that tallest outcropping of rock. Just as we're about to exit this habitat, I would like everybody to notice this tree that grows up at an angle on the far side here. I've actually seen some of the junior Nubian ibex climb trees such as that one right here in this very habitat. They just sort of scamper right up it like it's nothing. Next up will be the woodlands, which account for about 40% of the entirety of the continent of Africa. In this habitat, we'll be looking for an animal you might recognize from the alphabet. These will be the largest known species of zebra, and we know them by the name of Grevy's zebras. And the Grevy's zebras are unique from other zebras for a number of reasons, one of which is that they are the only known species of zebra that is believed to be more closely related to a donkey than they are a horse. So as soon as you catch a glimpse of one, notice the size and shape of their ears. They're actually very resemblant to those of a donkey. Also notice when you catch a glimpse that they have a solid stripe of black fur running down the spine, and also a solid white underbelly. All other known species of zebras have stripes that go all the way around their entire body. A zebra's striping pattern is as unique as a human fingerprint, which means that there are no two with the same stripes. This is helpful for a system called imprinting, which means that the very first thing a baby zebra does as soon as it's born is it memorizes the stripes of its mother. This enables it to then find its mother in a herd for the remainder of its life. Those stripes are also part of a system called disruptive camouflage, which means that instead of helping the zebra blend in with its environment, like the spots of a leopard might, the zebra's stripes actually help them to blend in with each other. This makes it difficult for a predator to tell how many zebras there are in a herd, and they typically travel in very large herds. This is an exercise in the idea of safety in numbers, and there have actually been studies done on a zebra's stripes to aid in the development of certain kinds of military camouflage. Again, I'm going to say, ooh. If you'll notice, we're about to happen in front of a small cliff covered in oak trees. We like to call this Oak Cliff. See if we can find out Flynn Bobo. He likes to hang out on the rock there just about this time every day. be seeing is what's called a caracol, which I see on top of this rock over here on the far left. The caracol is a feline that's all tan except for his ears, which are black. The word caracol is actually a Turkish word that means black ears, so those black ears are its namesake. The caracol can jump up to 8 feet vertically, which actually enables them to catch a bird out of flight for a quick snack, sort of nature's version of fast food. Thank you. Just beyond the caracols, you'll notice a very tall and impressive plant in front of you that's actually a type of grass. We know it by the name of bamboo. This particular type of bamboo is native to certain parts of Texas, and there are kinds of bamboo that can grow up to 14 inches in a single day, which makes it the fastest growing plant on the entire planet. And if you put on your safari ears, you can actually hear our next habitat. This will be the river. Now, all types of life on this planet, both plant and animal alike, require water to live. So just imagine the broad array of species that would be drawn out by a river such as this one. Chiefly are these animals called pescivores, which is a word that means fish eating. The first pescivore we'll be seeing are these eastern white pelicans. These, like other pelicans, have a large flap of very flexible skins beneath their feet that's called a gular. They can use this gular to swoop down and scoop up as much as 3 gallons of the water surrounding a fish they're going after. They then squeeze off the water and swallow the fish whole. Now, no species of bird that we are aware of has any type of teeth, so all birds have to swallow their food whole. However, pelicans have to be especially careful to always swallow their fish head first. If they were to mess up and try to swallow a fish tail first, they would run the risk of getting those scales and fins caught in their throat, potentially suffocating or possibly even killing them. Very dangerous business. While in this habitat, be sure and keep your eyes peeled for a shaggy type of an antelope that's called a waterbuck. I'll be sure and point him out if I catch a glimpse. If we're lucky enough to catch a glimpse of one of these waterbucks, be sure and notice the distinctive markings across their hindquarters that kind of resemble a target. And we're also just about to go underneath the waterfall, folks, and we can get a little bit wet, so be sure and get your umbrellas ready. As somebody warned you, this is a water ride. I'm going to have to put up the mic, and I'll see you all on the other side. As we're all coming out from beneath the waterfall, you'll notice on the far side of the stream there's 2 large birds, one of which is gray, very elegant bird that's called the Stanley crane, which is the national animal of South Africa. And just a little over to his right is a large white bird with black around the tips of his wings and tail. That's called a European stork, which migrates between Europe and Africa for about 9 months annually, which is why we believe it was the European stork that is the root of the legend of storks bringing babies. These ducks down here in the bottom that have white faces are what's called the white-faced whistling ducks. As the name suggests, they actually whistle instead of quack. If you like, feel free to whistle to them. See if you can get them to whistle back for you. As we're coming out into the clearing, if you look all the way across the way there, kind of beneath some of the foliage there, you'll see 2 of those waterbucks that I mentioned earlier. They have a defense mechanism similar to skunks. And this is that they secrete a very smelly oil from their skin that basically smells so bad, it tells predators, I smell bad, I probably taste bad too, so don't even bother. And typically the predator doesn't even bother. And let me tell you what, if you ever had a chance to smell one of these guys up close, they smell like the dumpster behind a sushi restaurant. It is rank but effective. The next area we'll be visiting is called the arid desert. Arid is a word that means dry, so any life that lives in a dry, harsh climate such as this one has to be highly adapted to do so. One example of the plant life will be the cacti you're about to see right in front of the train, and an example of the animal life will be these adax you're about to see. The adax are a type of antelope, and that's spelled A-D-A-X. Through various different adaptations, these adax can actually take in enough moisture from the foliage they eat and retain enough of that moisture that they can actually go their entire life without ever seeing a drop of water. Sounds like a rather thirsty existence to me. Next up will be the semi-arid desert, and the first animal I see is one that appears to be wearing a black and white mask. This is what's called the Gemsbok, which is one of the largest and known to be the most aggressive species of antelope. They have been known to take on and even win in a fight against a lion with those long, sharp horns. It's widely believed that the Gemsbok is the root of the legend of unicorns, because if you look at one directly from the side, it appears that they have only one long, straight horn instead of two. If you look all the way over to the right, you'll see an animal that's mostly white called an adra-gazelle. If anybody's going to head south on 35 while leaving the zoo today, you'll notice a billboard that has an adra-gazelle on it. That is an advertisement for the Fossil Rim Wildlife Preserve. Also, you'll notice a few of the largest known species of bird called ostriches. And these two are both females that I can see, and we can tell because they have brown feathers. The males have black feathers. This color difference is an adaptation that helps to protect their nest, since it's the male that guards the nest during the night, and the females guard it during the day. That's another type of camouflage, and we'll be covering a few before the end of our tour today. As we come into the scrub of Africa, you'll see towards the back are a couple of our lappet-faced vultures. Lappet is a word that means wrinkly, so these vultures were named for the wrinkly skin around their face and neck that we can see due to the lack of feathers there. That lack of feathers is an adaptation that helps them to stay clean when they dig into their main meal, which is carrion, another word for dead and usually already rotting meat. So imagine, if you will,